So we'll start down here in our seated position, and you should just be comfortable. So if crossing your legs doesn't work, stretch them out. We want to sit nice and tall so we find our sit bones. And let's just take a few deep breaths here. Shrug the shoulders. Release tension. If you need to, you can stretch your neck a little bit. We don't want to sit here with tension. So the first thing we'll do is practice just shrugging that out, letting go of it, breathing into any tension that you might have in the body, and relaxing. So the point of this practice here is to relax and also to get settled here and into what we're doing, into this present moment. So to release tension, it helps to sit nice and tall, to untilt the pelvis, to find the sit bones, to lengthen the spine, to take the shoulders back and down, and then relax the shoulders down, away from the ears. Relax the arms, hands. Checking through again for any leftover tension in the body. We are relaxing our face, our brow, our jaw. Relaxing again the shoulders, neck, arms, hands, fingers. Relaxing the belly and the low back by untilting the pelvis and lengthening the spine. And then relaxing our base, our glutes, our legs, feet, toes. And then to relax even further and quiet the mind and come into this present moment, we'll pay attention to our breath here. So feeling the breath sensations as we inhale and exhale through the nostrils now. Breathing to our lungs' fullest capacity without forcing the lungs at all. So nice deep breathing all the way in. And then emptying all the way out. Couple more breaths here with this deep breathing, mindfulness of the breath, or anchoring our attention, our minds on our breath for a moment. And then slowly opening the eyes. Let's stretch out our legs if you haven't already. And if you're sitting up on anything, you can put that to the side now. Let's lay down. Let's just go ahead and lay down. So we'll warm up slowly and work our way into our flow, our standing flow. So first things first, let's bend our knees and find the low back, meaning press your low back into the mat. You can use your abdominal muscles, get your glutes out of the way, push them down towards your heels. And keep the low back there. Taking the legs up now. You can pedal or bend one knee at a time, straighten one leg at a time. Here we're checking in with our flexibility, just slowly working into some gentle stretches here. If you're feeling it and you want to work into some deeper stretches, you could press out through the heels, reach for the toes, or hold the legs wherever it's comfortable, and find your calf stretch, find the stretch for your hamstrings. Now bending the knees, let's hold the feet together, the soles of the feet together. Bending those knees will open and relax. So think about a long spine here. So the chin is slightly down for a long neck as well. And if you like here, you can look over to one side. And then the other. So remember, all of these things that we're doing here, stretches or poses, should feel good, should feel strengthening or improving flexibility gently. Let's take the legs down. We're listening to our bodies and finding the benefits in everything we do. We're easing out of it if we need to. So full body stretch here. We'll take the arms overhead. So probably your low ribs are expanding. We're going to take those down. So toes point up, we're flexing in the ankle, pressing out through the balls of the feet, and then we'll gently press the low ribs down in towards the mat, into our body, and that changes things a little bit. So we'll start to feel a bit of a back stretch there, most likely. Make sure you're breathing. And release just for a moment. Let's rest our arms at our sides, palms up. Let your legs and feet drop out and get your energy back. That one does require quite a bit of energy. And then when you're ready, we'll sit up. So you could rock up with your abs, or you could roll over to one side and push off the floor. So we'll flip over now into tabletop, facing the front of the room, and find alignment there in tabletop. So we want to have our knees under our hips or sit bones, and our wrists right under our shoulders, and a nice flat back to start. So let's move into some cat-cows. So opening the chest, taking the shoulders back and down, and lifting the sit bones. And then exhaling. Oh, this is cat actually. Pressing away from the mat, rounding. Bringing those sit bones down. So into cow we go. We open the chest, open the heart on the inhale. Exhale, press away from the mat, drop the sit bones. So we're waking up our spine here. Now pressing our hips to our heels, you can bring your big toes together. You can also have your knees a little bit wider here for child's pose. Rest the arms for a moment, so the forehead comes to the mat. And then let's reach this way off to the left of the mat. So changing it up a bit. We're going to have a nice side stretch here. We're pressing or sinking the hips down. Again, away from the reach, down towards the heels. And so we're looking for the benefit here in what we're doing, trying to find that beautiful stretch, which could be gentle for you or a little bit deeper. So bringing it back to the mat and then off to the other side. And then back to the center. And to finish this off, let's reach to the front. So extended child's pose, gripping the front of the mat, and then broadening the upper back. So let's take this up, back to tabletop. Bring your knees under your hips. And let's drop the forehead to the mat. So we'll leave the hips high and bring it into half dog or puppy pose. So the forehead's down. We're allowing our chest to drop, allowing the sit bones to rise. That's okay. Arms reach front. Make sure they're in a comfortable place. So think about your chest opening here, sinking towards the mat. From here, we'll be moving into downward facing dog. So back to tabletop, and we'll tuck the toes and lift our hips to the sky and open the chest again. So it's an inverted V shape down dog. It's that upside down V. Again, we're opening the heart. You can think about pressing your ribs, your low ribs towards your thighs, pressing the chest towards the thighs. Relax the head and the neck. You can have your knees bent if you need to. That's totally fine. And press those ribs in towards the thighs even more. If you're ready for a lengthening stretch on the backs of your legs, we're pressing the heels down and the sit bones up. So we're going to baby step or walk towards the front of our mat, towards the hands. And we'll come up with bent legs, up to standing. You can lift those arms, reach up, inhale, and exhale, drop the arms. Let's step all the way to the front of our mat. And continue our warm-up here at the front of our mat. So we're gonna stand in mountain pose, taking those shoulders back and down. Let's inhale, reach up. And on the exhale, we'll come down with a flat back. Hands on the legs, halfway up. Inhale, flatten the back. On the exhale, let's step back with our left foot. So we'll bend the knees, hands to the mat, and left foot. Nice step back so that in the front, the knee is over the ankle. Inhaling here, opening the chest and the heart. Exhaling here, hands down. Let's step back to plank. Let's have an inhale here. And on the exhale, we're gonna drop the knees and then drop the chest. Come down to the belly and then lift the chest for cobra. Inhaling. Exhaling here to down dog. We're gonna zip up our abs and our belly muscles to keep our back safe. Let's have a breath here, an extra breath. Opening the heart. Inhale, let's take that left leg way up behind us. Exhale, we're gonna step it forward all the way to the front between the hands. Or you could step it halfway. If that's not happening, that big step, grab it and bring it up the rest of the way. We're lowering the back knee for a low lunge. Inhaling. Exhaling here, let's step forward. Inhale, halfway up. Flatten the back. Exhale, we're gonna bend our knees here and lower the belly towards the thighs. And then we'll power up to the inhale to standing. And exhale here. Hands to the heart. So let's just reset for a moment, find the breath. Fix our clothes. So we're checking in. If you haven't already, you can set your intention for your practice this morning based on how you're feeling. How you're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally. So we're respecting how we feel, holding it gently, and practicing accordingly. So let's try that again, the same sequence again, this time leading with the right. Inhaling, exhaling, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway up, flatten. Exhale, right foot steps back this time, dropping that back knee. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, stepping to plank. Inhale there. Exhale, slide down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. And we'll take the right leg up on the inhale and forward On the exhale, dropping the back knee again, inhaling to open, and exhaling to step forward. Inhale, halfway up, let's flatten our backs. And on the exhale, empty the lungs as you bend the knees, lower the ribs first, and then powerful legs press to standing on the inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart here. And again, reset for a moment. Find your breath. Now, just for a moment, let's test our balance. So choose a leg to stand on. It doesn't matter which one. And lift the other knee. So we're engaging our core muscles from the pelvic floor, lifting, wrapping around. We're also using the muscles in our standing leg, our quads, arms up for more of a challenge. See how that feels? And every day is different with the balance. So that's why we're checking in to see where we're at today. If you find that you're a little off today, or that taking the arms up is throwing you off even more, keep those arms down, lower today during our flow. Shake out the legs. Okay, we're gonna really heat up our legs now in chair pose. So let's inhale and reach up. Exhale, sit those hips back and down. We're gonna look down, make sure your knees are not going towards the toes or definitely not past the toes. And then let's reach front with the palms down. So just relax the shoulders, engage your core muscles here in the belly especially, and flatten out the low back. So we don't wanna be pointing our tailbone up behind us. Now we're just gonna power up. Inhale. And exhale. Let's try it again. Hips press back so we keep our knees safe, and release the shoulders, reach front, palms down, lengthen your spine. Try lifting one heel and then the other. Shoulders are down, abs are up and in. Now try, if you can, to lift both heels at the same time. If you're shaking, it's working. Breathe. Dropping the heels, and again, we'll press up with those strong legs. Inhale. Exhale. Now for warrior two, let's step back with our left foot. A nice big step back to the back of the mat. And that back foot is parallel to the mat, or you can turn your heel back or your toes in a little bit, bending the front knee. So in the front, we want that knee over the ankle. And we want the torso sort of facing the long edge of the mat, arms long in a straight line, so check that out. Chest is nice and open, and the torso is right over top of our hips. Let's move dynamically. Reach up, straighten your front leg, inhale, and then exhale, settle in. Two more. And last one. Now let's try reverse warrior. So we're going to drop the hand in the back to the back leg and reach up in the front and bend through the front knee a little bit more, maybe reach back more. Look up if you're feeling balanced, strong. Releasing, bring it back to warrior two. And then lean on that front leg with your forearm, reaching straight up. Looking up again if you're feeling it. And then let's bring the bicep or the arm in towards the side of the head and reach away from the back foot. Extending and lengthening all the way down the side body. So we're gonna cartwheel or take the hands to the front of the mat, lift the back heel up, and from here we'll step forward. And when we get here, let's gently walk out the legs. So you can have your hands on your legs or on the floor, and we're bending, one knee straightening the other leg, and you can kind of walk your hands around. And then both knees bent so we can press up to standing with our legs. And inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. So a couple breaths here. Inhaling, reaching up. And then exhaling, hands to the heart. Again. So let's try Warrior 2 on the other side now. So we'll step back with our right foot. Again, nice big step. We want that front heel intersecting the back arch. Front knee is over the ankle. We want to see the big toe. So the knee, instead of coming in here, is opening. Nice, strong warrior, fierce warrior. Find your shoulder blades. Open the chest and the heart. Now 3 times we'll go up, straighten the front leg. Inhale. Exhale. Settle in. With your own breath rhythm, move with your breath. 2 more. Last one. And into a reverse warrior. So bringing that hand down in the back. Press through that front knee or bend through it again. To deepen, reach back. Back to Warrior 2 for a moment. And then we'll lower that forearm, lean on your front leg. Reach up, look up. And then reach it overhead, away from the back foot. And vice versa, press your back foot down into the mat, that outer edge of the back foot. And then again, hands to the front, but this time we're going to step back into downward facing dog. And you can always take your time. Moving, transitioning from one pose to the other. In down dog, let's spread the fingers wide and press into that V. Press the palms into the mat. Engage the muscles in the upper back. Kind of wrap your muscles around, supporting the joints. Neck is in line with the spine, or the head is relaxed, neck is relaxed. Now, we'll shift into plank position. So shift forward, bring the shoulders over the wrists, and slide down to the mat. You can always drop the knees first, then bend the elbows, tuck them in to your sides to lower the chest. So here you can have a cobra or an up dog. Cobra can be down here, just a slight lift, or you can bring it higher. And then we'll release this down and practice locust. Reaching back, lifting the chest again. And this time we're using our low back muscles. If you can, bring the feet off the floor, lifting the thighs a bit. Think about your core. We're lifting the belly muscles up, in, and we're pressing them all the way around behind us. Lower down, relax for a moment. Breathe, catch your breath. And then we'll try it like this, with spider hands or tented hands and fingers outside the mat. And we'll try that. See if you like that a little better. See if you can engage your core muscles even more. Lifting maybe even more. Thighs are down for now. And then again, rest for a moment. Relax. You can relax your head on your hands. And then last one here for the core, the low back, the back of our core. If you want to challenge, hands behind the head, lifting the chest and the thighs. with the hands behind the head. If that's too difficult, go back to the first version that we tried with the arms back. Breathe. It's hard work, but we're getting stronger. So with the hands behind the head, we add resistance to our upper body. Let's rest again. And then from here, we'll move into a downward facing dog. So plant the palms into the mat. Press to the knees. Tuck the toes. And engage your core. Hips to the sky. Let's take it wide. So hands and feet to the edges of the mat. And again, open up nice and open in the chest. Remember the muscles under your shoulder blades? Use those now to take the weight off of your shoulder joints. Activating the muscles in the upper back is going to help us come off of those joints. Now we'll bring it back in to a regular dog. And out of that wider stance, and then from here we'll take our left leg way up high behind us on the inhale, and then step that forward on the exhale, or help it get there. Crescent lunge. So for crescent lunge, the back heel is up, the back leg is strong and straight, and the front knee is bent. Again, find your balance. Before you take your arms overhead, inhale, reach up, look up. Exhale, let's bend the elbows, cactus arms. Open the chest. 2 more. One more. Hold on. Find the strength. Activate those muscles. Now, hands at the heart. We're going to turn belly towards inner thigh to the left. And bring that opposite arm outside the knee with the hands together at the heart. So you can drop your back knee, guys, and make this a little bit easier, more stable if you need to. Just bring that back knee to the mat. Releasing, untwisting, hands to the front of the mat. Let's step back and bring it back into a down dog. And you can walk your dog here. Bending, straightening, one leg at a time. Now let's try it on the other side. Everything we do on one side, we need to do it on the other. So the right leg, bring it way up high. Inhale. And step it front or help it get there on the exhale. So you can step forward a little bit with that back foot. Remember, all the toes are pointing to the front. The back heel is up. Back leg is straight and strong. No rush. Find your balance. Find your strength. Inhale. We'll try this 3 times. Opening, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Use your shoulder blades. One more. Now for that twist, remember, you can drop your back knee down to the mat. We're turning to the right. Stay strong. Believe in yourself. And again, from here, we'll step it into down dog. So untwist. Take your time. Those legs are probably pretty tired by now, so you can walk them out. Let's drop our knees and rest for a moment in child's pose. And that can be with the knees together or wider. Just catching our breath here for a moment. We need to bring our heart rate down a little bit. We're going to challenge our balance next. So from a downward facing dog, whenever you're ready, moving into down dog. And then deciding how you want to come to the front of your mat. So you can hop there or you can step there. Bend the knees and take a little hop or take those baby steps. Now, for a forward bend first things, we want to come halfway up. You can do that with your fingers or hands on the mat or on the legs. Either way, we're flattening. So the tailbone comes in line with the spine. Let's have an inhale. And then for the exhale, we're going to lower the ribs. Lowering the ribs first maintains a nice flat back. So you can have your hands on the mat or you could try hugging your legs. Relax the neck. Find that stretch. If it's too much of a stretch, you know you can bend your knees. From here, we'll bend the legs and press to standing. Reach up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart. If you didn't quite make it all the way to the front, let's step there now. And let's breathe a few times with some upper body movement. So inhaling, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, taking those hands to the heart again. A couple more of these. Time your movement with your breath. So first balancing pose, let's try tree. So let's stand on our right leg. And you can have your foot here, your left foot inside the ankle, or inside the calf, or the inner thigh. We don't really want to have it pushing here on the knee, so lower or a little bit higher. And we're activating the standing leg muscles, the quads, lifting the kneecap there, all the muscles in the standing leg and glute. So you can always reset, you can always find the mat whenever you need to, or keep those toes down. We are keeping that hip in alignment on the standing leg. By pressing it in towards the sole of the foot if you're up there. So arms out to help us with our balance. Now we're going to move into eagle, if you can. We're going to take this raised leg over the other one and start with the toes down. And then we'll take the same side arm. Let's take our left arm under the other one. You can bend your elbows and rest your hands here on your shoulders or wrap all the way around. So to find an upper back stretch, we want to press up gently with the arms up and away from the face. Should feel a nice stretch on your upper back. And then we'll begin to bend at the hips and knees, but we're pressing the hips back. We're not pushing the knees front, we're pressing them back, like we're coming into chair. Breathe, activate your core for balance. And then, if you want, you can lift those toes off the floor and tuck them behind. We want to keep the hips facing front. So when you move out of this, we're just going to try everything on the other side. So we can shake out our legs. That was a lot. Take a few deep breaths. And let's try it on the other side. So this time we're standing on the left leg. Tree first. If your balance is off, you can try arms out. Don't forget the muscle activation in the standing leg. Super important. Also the glute there on that standing leg side. In tree, we are practicing holding a nice open heart. So you can achieve that by using the shoulder blades in the back. So we'll try to move to eagle gracefully, but don't worry if it's not perfect. We're going to release that foot, cross the thigh over the left leg, and bring the toes down. So the balls of the feet right now are pressing into the mat, and then we'll bring the right arm under. Wrap around, find your upper back stretch. Sitting those hips back a little bit and lowering them down. Don't forget to activate your core to help you out here with the balance. And then let's try to lift the toes and tuck them behind, keeping those hips squared off to the front. So just unraveling here. Shake out the legs. Get the circulation back again. Roll the shoulders. And let's have a little side body stretch here. So we'll cross our left again over, and we're going to reach up and over with that left arm. So you can gently press the hips over to the left as you reach to the right. And then try that on the other side. Always breathing. And release. Let's try a yogi squat or frog pose. So let's take the feet wide. If you can't bring your hips all the way down to your heels here, you could just hold like a half squat or maybe here. As long as your knees are safe, you want to keep those knees back behind the toes. If you can, we're going to lower all the way down. So we take the feet wide so we can fit these arms at prayer position inside. Lengthen the spine. If you like here, you can press to the balls of the feet. We are going to sit next. So whenever you're done with your squat, and then we'll stretch out our legs, shake them out. And let's practice strengthening our core next. So we're going to move into boat pose. If you want to have a little water to break, you can. So let's take the glutes back. And for boat, we want to start with bent knees, feet on the mat. And we'll try the easy variation first, so holding the backs of the thighs. Already engage the core, open the chest. We come from this slumped position to nice open heart. Try taking the feet off the floor. Try to lift them a little higher. Maintain your long spine and your open heart and see if you can reach front. So it's going to require you to really activate those abdominal muscles from the pelvic floor. So for a little stretch here, we're going to drop the feet, hold them together, and open the knees, open the heart, lengthen the spine, and maybe have a little stretch or more of a stretch by coming forward. And then we'll try boat again. This time maybe a little bit more of a challenging boat pose, going full into it if possible with straight legs. If you feel like you're coming to your tailbone, try that, pulling the glutes back. Activate those quads. Those are here, tops of the thighs. Nice open heart. Stay strong, breathe. And release, and we'll come into that stretch again. Long spine, open chest, forward. And let's release the legs, stretch them out, shake them out. And then we'll bring our hands behind us with the fingertips pointing towards our hips and our bum. And then we'll bend those knees again, feet to the mat, coming into reverse tabletop. So you want to make sure that your wrists are under your shoulders and we stay nice and strong in our upper body. So we're going to try to lift the hips. You can gaze towards your navel, or if you have a healthy neck, you can drop the head. And then very gently releasing hips to the mat. Let's go ahead and lay down here. Find the low back. To find the low back, we'll bend the knees and use the belly muscles to kind of press the low back into the mat. And then we're going to bridge those hips up again. So arms at our sides to start. You want to have the chin just slightly down. We don't want to be looking overhead up. Slightly down with the chin for a comfortable neck. And then we'll lift the hips again. Bring them in line with the body if you can. And then walking the shoulders under us, we're going to try to interlock our fingers underneath there. But first, take the shoulders under, open the chest and heart. Activate the core. Feel the back of the core activating. And release. Let's take the hips down and find the low back again just by pressing it into the mat with the core muscles. We're not going to hug our knees just yet. Now a little bit more for the front of our core. Let's take the legs up, arms overhead. Want to have a little space between the legs here so that we can reach through. So we're going to lift the arms, lift the head, look out through the legs, and use your abdominal muscles to press the upper body off the mat, to press the shoulder blades off the mat. Keep breathing. It's hard work, but it's good for us. We're getting stronger. One more breath. And release. Now, you can hold your knees here. And if you like, you can rock back and forth on the low back. And if you like here, you can pull the knees in even more towards the chest, all the way in. Make sure you're maintaining a long spine. Releasing one leg down to the mat. Let's pull that other bent knee in, maybe even more. Maybe you can pull that outside your ribs. And we're pressing out through the straight leg, so the toes point up. We're pressing out through the heel and the balls of the feet on that straight leg. We'll release here and try it on the other side. And letting go, let's bring the legs down. Can do some feet circles here. Whatever you need to relax, take a moment. We want to be nice and comfortable here. It's time for Savasana, time to just let go. Shoulder blades are down, arms are at our sides, palms up. We want to let the legs and feet drop open. But make sure you're comfortable. If you need to bend your knees here, that's fine. First things first, or the first step here to relaxation, is to check through the body and pay attention to where you might be holding onto tension, allowing it to release away. And then the next thing we'll want to do for relaxation is bring the busy, wandering mind, the planning and remembering mind, to the breath sensations. This practice here is not just for the yoga classroom, it's not only for the yoga setting or for the mat. We can take it with us off the mat, as they say. So, let's contemplate for a moment how we can bring this with us, how we can introduce this practice of being present and connected to the present moment in everything we do. Being awake and aware of what is arising, being grounded, and using our breath whenever we're feeling stressed or separated, scattered, using our breath to bring it back, grounding. When you're ready, we'll sit up, take your time. Again, you can press off the floor if you need to. So rolling over to one side and pressing off the floor. Whatever you do, take your time. We'll come to a seated position once more. Taking our hands to our hearts here. And then we take this little bow to show that we see one another. We see the good that is within us all, everyone, everywhere. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you all for coming today.